Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to see you there. So we have a few things that we want to chat about today. But before we get started, let's go Knicks.
Nice job last night.
I mean, I was a little concerned. I also feel like watching a game with me is tough for anybody, whether it's the Yankees or the Knicks, because I am responding, screaming, yelling at every single play. And I think that I am the commentator, and I want me to shut up.
Right. And they turned the sound off on
I know.
you? Yeah.
No. Josh Hart, Kat, Jalen did what he could do, and he did, luckily it was enough.
It was
enough.
A good game.
Let's go Knicks.
Yeah.
But in other orange news, this is Yosemite Sam. So if you are... if you know my dad, then you know he does have a lovely artistic ability. So this character is an inspired by Yosemite Sam character. And how did this guy come to be?
I guess it was January of 1980. I transferred from Engine 74 and went to Ladder 25, which is the Associated Hook and Ladder Company. They used to be together in the same building, but things happened in the city and they ended up being separate. 25 was still in the double quarters on 77th Street, and the other side was empty. So I get sent over to be a truckie now, which that's what I was in Freeport, and I was very, very excited. And we had an old beat-up rig, and one of the guys put a half-assed version of a quarter painted on the side to symbolize 25. I liked the idea of having some kind of esprit de corps, but the quarter wasn't cutting it for me. And when we got a new rig, I asked the captain if I could design a logo, and if he liked it, could we put it on the truck? And this was just at the beginning of patches and logos on apparatus in New York City. It was starting to happen, and shortly after that, there actually rules and regulations came down as to how big the patches could be, because they didn't want patches bigger than the department patch.
Okay, that makes sense.
So they wanted uniformity. So it was right at that sweet spot when logos were really just starting. And also the technology was such that you could relatively easily purchase patches, where before it wasn't a thing.
Right.
Only the military and had patches or whatever.
So how did you let them know that you had artistic ability? Like how do you flex that?
I just think that you doodle and whatever, and people
like,
know.
Wow.
Okay. And if you're working on the rig and you're doing lettering, all of a sudden, people realize you can draw. I was always making little cartoons about people and putting them on the refrigerator, and we had a chalkboard, so I would draw cartoons on the chalkboard. I always did that.
Your whole life.
Yeah, the Dominican nuns weren't too happy about it. But,
I'm actually hosting a luncheon today for the Dominican nuns at Crest Hollow. Hence, I'm a little bit fancier than normal. So, shout out to the Dominican nuns.
Yeah, I got my best T-shirt on. So.
Okay, so you tell the captain, hey, can I come up with this character? And why Yosemite Sam? So this is the guy.
Well, you try to be localized. We're on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. It's actually a really neat section of the city. We didn't do a lot of work, but when we went to fires, it was occupied Manhattan. We didn't go to a lot of vacant building fires, and they had some challenging buildings, some really big buildings in our area. Museum of Natural History was in our response area. So some challenging structures if you had fires in them. Luckily, you never had a fire in there. But the captain okayed the drawing, and I commenced to painting it on the new truck, which turned into a challenge. Even though we weren't the busiest of companies, you don't realize it until you start trying to paint on an apparatus
that's going to roll.
That they keep going out the door. And I have to go with them, so I'm covered with little blobs of paint.
How does it not get messed up when they're driving? Or does it help with the drying process? If there's a little fresh air getting involved in it.
It helped with the drying process. I was using enamels, so they're good. They're kind of thick, so they don't move too much with the wind from the truck going. But I was able to paint it on the doors successfully on both sides. So whatever the logo is, I had to do it twice.
Oh, okay.
The good thing is if they were slightly different, you couldn't see both sides
at the same time. Okay.
But then shortly after that, and I don't remember who it was, but somebody came up with sheet aluminum pieces
Oh,
that
so
were
then you-
about 1.5 feet by 2 feet, the exact same red as a New York City fire truck. And he gave me like 50 of them.
Wow.
And I wish I remembered who it was. And I did logos. I redid a Yosemite Sam logo. I did a logo, the Pink Panther for
yep.
74 engine. I did things for 44 engine, all sorts of things. I did a little logo. 44 truck was a popular one, Bluto. That patch, that's one of my favorite designs I ever did.
Yeah.
And they're all blatantly ripped off from other artists.
But it's so cool because, you might see a truck going by, an FDNY truck if you're in Manhattan, New York City, and you see these logos, like, where do they come from? And, like, Exhibit A.
Yeah.
So you paint this logo on the side. This is 1980.
80.
You paint it on
You
the
got it
side.
in there,
And I was just
actual-
going to say, here's the, the Face ID is not going to work, but I know your password. Don't tell anyone.
Okay.
But here's the actual rig. Here's the actual truck with the logo on it from back in the day. Oh, I see Kristen Malspina's on there. Hey, Kristen. So that's the actual logo. But now, as you were saying, you're painting this by hand, right? Because this is before you got those sheets of aluminum. You're painting this design by hand while you're also working. You get called to a job, and talk me through what happens during this job. And it was a first floor fire? Because aren't they usually like on the highest floor at all times?
Yeah, well, that's what it seems like. If any tough fire you get to go to generally is on the top floor of a building. This one happened to be on West 86th Street. It was April of 81, probably right around the time when I was doing the logo. And it was a night tour, Captain Wallace, and we had a young guy from 76 engine was detailed for the night. Louis, I think his name was. And we roll out to a report of a fire in a brownstone building, I believe it was, on 86th Street. And it was a first floor fire, surprisingly. But when we pulled up, there was nothing showing, quiet block. There's the front door of the place, and whatever. We went in, and there's a couple of apartments. It was a brownstone that was converted. And as soon as we walk in the lobby area, we realized that you could smell the smoke. No dramatic flames out the window or anything. Like I said, the street was quiet, but once we get in the building, we knew we had a fire.
You got a job.
So as the captain's given the signal on the radio, which you asked about, 1075 is the New York signal.
So you see the detail in here. So the badge number of Yosemite Sam is 1075, which is, the signal.
Yeah, I like to put that in logos if the company doesn't have a specific number, just because it's like to the fire gods,
Yeah, here we go.
We're beseeching them for work. Sorry, citizens.
Yeah.
So we force the door, and we go in, smokes to the floor, and Louis and the captain go to the right, and I go to the left, and I start going down the hallway, and I guess I'm about halfway to where I'm supposed to go. I can just see in the distance fire. And I hear, Paul. And for 1 second, I was frozen. Because I'm thinking, I worked with some amazing firemen. One of the positions in the New York City Fire Department for a ladder company is the outside ventilation person. And they try to get on the same level as the fire, on the other side of the fire, like a rear fire escape or something like that, break the window, come in and search on the other side to help ventilate the situation, get the hot smoke and gases out, and if there's anybody trapped on the other side of the fire, this way we're getting it.
Yeah.
I thought in that
split
second that one of these knuckleheads had snuck in and was laying there trying to make believe they were a victim, because I had heard stories,
Yeah.
But it turns out it's this old lady laying semi-conscious on the floor, and I crawl up to her, and she's mumbling, Paul. And I said, who's Paul? And she's just, Paul. I said, is Paul your boyfriend? Yes. Is he home? No. Oh, well, thank God.
Yeah,
I don't have to worry about
him.
So...
But that's creepy, right? Let's acknowledge for a second that you're doing a search and you hear someone calling your actual name.
It was a little weird. Yes, I have to admit. It was a little bit weird. So I started pulling her out, and then I think Louis came over and helped me, and we dragged her outside and gave her some oxygen. She recovered. They took her to the hospital, and she was fine. It was, a bad fire for your apartment, but it didn't do major damage to the building or anything else. But it was kind of neat. It was my second rescue in New York City, and as it turned out, even though I didn't get a picture, usually I get photos in most of my opportunities. But it ended up with a nice story to tell, because she had stopped by the firehouse, I guess, about a week or two later, and brought a cake.
That's so nice.
Because
a lot of times you actually save someone's life, but then you never see them again or hear from them again, and you don't know what goes on with the rest of their life.
Yeah, but I never got to see her again because I wasn't working that day.
You didn't get any cake?
I got no
cake.
cake
For you.
No
cake for you.
No cake.
So it is kind of wild. And maybe next week we could talk about the Rescue One wall, like that room. So if you've ever seen the documentary Still Riding, it's in there. Or if you've ever been in the quarters of Rescue One, there is this really impressive wall. But do you think that this is the first piece of artwork that you did for the FDNY?
I think so, yeah.
Could be. All right, so.
Could be. Good chance.
Good chance that this was the first of many. So if my dad has done artwork for your department, because you now do it across the country,
I'm still
right?
doing them, yep.
Do you do it international? Have you done it international?
I don't believe so.
Okay, all right, not yet. Because I know
yet.
a lot of times we get people from Ireland on here, and we've gotten Germany on here, and we've had a couple of different people from different places, but people usually reach out to you on what, Instagram?
Yeah,
to say something.
Instagram or Facebook.
They're saying, damn, the brothers didn't save you a piece of cake.
No, they didn't.
No. That seems about right, though. That seems about right.
It happened to me either.
Somebody wants to know if you ever made a rope rescue.
No, I never. I practiced it. I've done it in training. I've been at operations where there was a rope rescue in process. I remember we went up to Harlem one time, and the chief just said, "Go help them. Don't get in their way, but just make sure everything's right." Because they know that we practice it a lot, and sometimes and they were doing it perfect. I mean, they did a great job, and it's unusual to be able to walk up to a situation like that and just to be a witness of it, like being a safety consultant, but to watch the brothers do a rope rescue is impressive.
Yeah, I was just thinking, didn't you rappel? It was Cowboy Stadium, right, down on the rope?
Oh yeah, I've been on a lot of ropes. Yeah, I went to Texas for some advanced training in 2002, and it was in Irving, Texas, and it was that's where the Dallas Cowboys were playing, and we had some kind of major drill with the Irving, Texas Fire Department and the Irving, Texas Police Department SWAT team, and we were using the stadium as a drill site. That was amazing.
I can picture that shot of you, like that picture, which we didn't
we got
know
up
we
in
were
the
going to talk
rafters
about.
at the end. That was the icing on the cake that I never got. That was the icing, and we got to slide down. They had this giant setup right out of the rafters, all the way down onto the star in the middle of the field.
Wow.
It was impressive.
Did you ever see the DCC show on Netflix?
No.
Oh my God, so good. I mean, because I was a cheerleader growing up, so my dad had to go to, I don't know, like how many cheerleading competitions in your life?
I went to cheerleading competitions and football games that
I wasn't playing.
No interest in either team. I was just watching my daughter jump up and down.
Yeah, so
and be loud.
Very loud, very loud. They're saying, did you ever get confused while using the 10 code? Yeah,
well, sometimes the 10 code is... There's two different theories in radio communications. One is if you use coded radio signals, they're briefer and more exact. And that works like in a big city or something like that. But then there's also a narrative report where you tell what you see. And I think that works better in a rural area where there's, a lot to describe that's different. Usually you pull up, they say 1075, and we have fire in the third floor of a 4-story building. Fire is out 2 windows in the front. So you painted that picture with the signals. But if you're out somewhere rural or different, you might want to give a lot more information rather than numbers. You have
Right.
to paint the picture. But like for New York, it works perfect. But I know in other places it would be cumbersome.
Fire Frenchie says these old open cabs had such a particular vibe to them. So I'm wondering, is there a type, I know that the rigs have really evolved over the years, and even just how
Right.
much gear you keep in them and how much bigger they got, that so many, especially the volunteer fire departments on Long Island, you saw them, having to pass these massive budgets because the trucks just didn't even fit in the quarters anymore,
Right.
But is there a certain, I don't know if it's like a nostalgia or love for like a certain truck that you had that you just like, this was like your favorite?
There is a certain mystique about riding the back step because you don't do it anymore. The days of people look at the old pictures of the 70s and the 80s with the roll-up boots and the long coats and riding on the back step. And yeah, all of that. I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say it was fun. It was great until it snowed or until you're, completely exhausted and you're holding onto the back of the truck so you don't fall off and get killed. It's not a safe thing. It's what we did for a long time. I rode on the sideboards of a Tillard hook and ladder truck.
Isn't that crazy when you think about it now? Like, I can in my mind picture, the people just like jumping and holding on, like wearing flip-flops and stuff on those running boards. They just like, let's go. And then when they get there, they put everything on.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. So I do have a little
Yeehaw.
nostalgia, but I don't miss the back step in the long run. And luckily I could check that box off. I did it.
You did it.
Yeah.
You did it.
But I liked being inside in the bad weather a lot better than I liked being outside on the nice weather.
And also because you're a chauffeur, I'm thinking about the Tillerman in the back and like how many different people you've had to communicate with and figure out driving with when you have those kind of, for like a hook and ladder truck.
Yeah, I became a chauffeur in 25 truck. I got there in 80 and I went to chauffeur school in 82. The captain offered me his seat. I think his chauffeur went out to Queens, and he asked me to drive him, which was kind of flattering. I'm a young guy, and I took him up on that. So I got to drive 25 truck for a year before I went to Rescue 1, and then after a while I got to drive Rescue 1. I did that for a long time, but there's something to be said for driving a fire truck because Spanky, Jack McAllister, he had such great lines. He was a regular chauffeur in Rescue 1, and he would just look at us with disdain and remind us that every run is a worker when you're the chauffeur. You knuckleheads are sitting in the back just looking out the window wondering where we're going. I'm doing all the work up front.
What's so funny is like I don't think I've ever heard you call him Jack McAllister.
Right.
That's so funny. Somebody says, good morning, Paul. I love all these stories. My friend, you're looking good. That's from CJG1404. And then Nick said, your dad is such a nice guy. I met him when I did his Optimum install. All right, Nick.
Oh, wow. How
Yay,
about that?
thank you for our Wi-Fi right now working.
It still works, Nick. Good job.
It's working. We're in Dad's house. So this is perfect. And the guy CJ is saying, I had a blast riding on the side of Freeport's Tiller with you guys. I don't remember why, but it was fun. So that must have been really fun if you don't remember why.
That's perfect.
I have a few stories on there too. We might save those for another day. We were going to talk about a particular time. Did you ever run with the drill team? I'm sorry. I've got to give a moment for this question.
All right.
Because lights on, ready, go.
Ready, go. As a matter of fact, yes, I did. I ran with the Dead End Kids. And look at that.
We will call back. Go ahead.
Yep.
All right. So you just kidding.
I ran with the Dead End Kids, and I kind of went into the sport a little reluctantly. It wasn't a thing I wanted to do. It was a thing that the company did. But once I got into it, I loved it. It was amazing. And I ran, except for individual ladder, I ran in every event. I was a horse pulling the wagon. I was the backup guy on the nozzle man. I was the top guy on the ladder for bucket brigades, and I used to throw the bucket up to Bruce and dump it in the barrel. And I did that for a number of years. And unlike my contemporaries, when I finally decided it was time to hang up my sneakers after our last championship, I hung them up on the wall. and I never put them back on. And Mouse, who was the captain of the team, kept talking everybody into coming back. But
Right.
I luckily had a replacement. I got my cousin Ray came into the company at that point. And he was
Yeah.
a good athlete, so he took over for me.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because my husband ended up, I think, taking Bruce's spot because he was at the top. So it was like the changing of the guard ended up being,
That's right.
well, my future husband, because I wasn't married to him then. But yeah, so people are saying hello, and the guy CJ who rode with you said it was something to do with a dive job with Freeport and Wantagh, which sounds about right because that's how my story goes as well, which is a story for another time. But we do want to thank everybody for joining us, and we do love the questions because there's nice little avenues, a little fork in the road of the journey, and we appreciate everybody jumping on here, saying hi. Elizabeth, do you ever go in for a tour with your dad when he was active? So I never did like a full ride along.
No.
I did catch rides from the rescue company.
Yeah.
Maybe, but yeah. So I did.
Well, the statute of limitations are over,
Is
right?
it? Is it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's
I don't think they can fire me if I'm retired,
Okay.
but I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, they do still pay you though. So, so we don't want to get into too much. But yes, I did ride. I did go there a bunch.
We dropped you off a couple
Yeah,
times.
I used their Uber service a few times, and I definitely did go and visit you. And I went in pretty much every time I went to go see a Broadway show. And I was also a dual major in college, so I had a major of performing arts. So I was a big theater kid. And every time we would go to Broadway, I would always, if you were working, we went in and we stopped and we saw you. And if you weren't working, then you were with us. Oh, somebody's saying, young guys in our company want Captain America on our new tower ladder. No problem, except it came out looking like a monkey in a Halloween costume. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. All right, well, you could contact Dad, maybe send him a DM and see if he can help you.
I think I can fix
It's like
that
fixing a bad tattoo or something.
that is an image, though.
I know, right?
A monkey with a star shield.
I love it. So thank you to everybody who joined us as we were chatting today about this was the first of what became many, many characters for the FDNY and different designs, not only on patches and t-shirts. Shout out to the guys at Getting Salty, because they have a bunch of your cartoons on t-shirts. So if you've ever checked it out and have one, let us know. And we appreciate your time and you joining us. And don't forget, next week we are again on a Thursday. I have a commitment that I'm doing on a few Wednesdays coming up. So just adjust your time. But it seems like a lot of you did that for us, so we appreciate it. And we will see you next week on Thursday. Stay safe.